Beautiful people, welcome to Wine Wednesdays with Thishiwe. It is episode 2. I am so excited to be sharing this moment with you. I am at Soda Studios, and if you are a performer or a content creator, why don't you call them up? And you can get some space to create your content and have a beautiful time. They've treated us so nice. So why don't you come through to Soda Studios and get some beautiful spaces, beautiful pictures made for your space. I'm Thishiwe and this is Wine Wednesdays with Thishiwe. I am dressed in Imprint. Do I not look handsome? Imprint ZA. Follow at Imprint ZA on Instagram and get yourself a fit for that awesome event we're having in December, hosted by myself and by Siwela Wines in Harties. Wine tasting, boat cruise. You know you want to be there. Don't miss out on that. So keep watching all these episodes of Wine Wednesday with Thishiwe. But for today, our special guest is a dear friend of mine and someone who I hold dearly, to whom I can share discussion around identity, gender, and expression. Ladies, gentlemen, they, them, whatever you identify as, here we are. This is our guest. TK Thontsi Bucibo, a.k.a. TK, a.k.a. Thontsi, a.k.a. Nature Boy! Nature Boy! There you are!
Oh, can I say nigga? Hey, boy!
You can say nigga, my nigga. My nigga. I love you.
I love you.
Thank you for coming.
Oh, thank you for having me. Hello. Husband.
You look dapper, my nigga.
I mean, but it's because you look dapper, my guy.
Oh, well, I mean, I try.
My guy.
You know.
I'm so excited. This is... Who knew that this was a dream in, like, what, was it 2021? 2020? The first season.
The first season was just after lockdown. So I was sitting in my lounge.
Yeah.
And because I'm a Leo, I need to interact.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, I need to interact with humans. So I started Wine Wednesdays with Thishiwe because I was like, I need humans.
Yeah, man. It's a yes. It's a yes.
It's a yes from you?
It's a yes. I mean, it was cute. Like, all I remember is it was like a yellow knitted jersey. That's why I was like,
I don't even remember.
You're drinking South African wines in yellow? Look at God.
But look at what we are drinking today.
Ew.
Today we are drinking Siwela Grace Chardonnay. Now, because you are someone I know you like your white wine.
I do.
Tell me the story about white wine. Why is it that you like white wine?
It's like the perfect party starter. So, no, like literally other spirits, it would be like, yeah, it peaks. White wine like gets you to that edging place, but you also feel rich, like millionaire rich when you drink white wine. Yeah, well,
so this is a party drink for you?
Yes, because who parties harder than like specifically white women who are housewives? Like, it's day drinking the whole day, and then you go and like maybe you send Benson to go and pick up the kids from school, and then you just do coloring in whilst you're doing, it's not mathematical numeracy. It's what they call it when you're in foundation phase. So you're doing the numeracy whilst you're drinking your wine. It's the perfect day drinking drink, and if Suella lives to... If Suella is not trying to beat the allegations, apparently this white wine is actually going to be...
I chose this especially
future.
for you because I know you love your white wine.
Thanks, guys.
So we are about to sample a Siwela Grace Chardonnay, which is aged.
Uh-huh.
Do you like your wine sweet or bitter?
So I also feel like So, with all due respect to wine drinkers, like I know that this is your job. I just like wine, you know, like
Just be wine.
I mean, no, and I like good wine. Like I'm not trying to drink something that's going to kick my butt tomorrow, but I like wine, and I know if it tastes good, then it's a great wine, and if it doesn't taste good, it's yeah, like I can taste the hints of floral, but don't ask me if I'm tasting the plums because I actually don't know.
Why don't you go straight in, if you may, and then you'll find out.
Okay, so this is going to either get me lots of dates or lose me a lot of dates.
Oh, what gets you dates?
I don't know. I no, yeah, me being not weird in spaces gets me dates. You know, like I try to be quite chilled in vibes. I don't go on dates, Thishiwe. Like they're afraid of me. Apparently, I have a resting bitch face. So,
Uyathusa.
I don't think so. I mean, I don't relate. You know, nah.
Yini, what are you giving?
Don't approach me unless you're serious about your life. And
Oh, is that what you're looking for?
no, I just want to have fun. You know.
I think you're a little confused about what you want.
I am. No, I just don't. Who knows? By the time this airs, maybe I will be interested in a relationship. I said, yeah, what tissue?
Okay, I don't want to ruin nothing. I don't want to ruin nothing for the nigga. This is my nigga. My nigga good. My nigga good.
Thank
My
you.
nigga gonna treat you good.
I will. And I'm very romantic. You know, I'm very romantic when I have the capacity.
Okay, my nigga. I want to play a game with
Okay.
you.
Was
While you screw. I want you to tell me 3 things about you.
Okay.
I know you.
Yeah.
Actually, before I get to that, because I know some things about you that people that are watching may not know. What are your pronouns?
Oh, so my pronouns are they, them. What are your pronouns?
My pronouns are he, him, they, them.
Okay.
I actually have an affinity to he, him pronouns more than they, them pronouns.
Okay, so are we using
I get more excited.
Oh.
My Betty. The thing is, I'm a Zulu man. So I get excited when I'm addressed accordingly. So the thing about pronouns, and we'll get into it. As we'll get into it, Mrs. Puzil.
I'm just trying to think, does white wine breathe or not? No, we're pouring. They breathe in the glass.
Oh, you even know how to hold it and everything.
I mean, I did work in a culinary school for a while.
It looks glorious. Look at that color.
That gold.
It's gold.
Autismal. Yes.
This is beautiful. Siwela Wines. Ladies, gentlemen, and non-binary people.
No, so it's ladies and gentle them.
No, I find that very offensive.
Really?
Yes, as someone who once identified as non-binary, I find that offensive.
Dude.
It's like a gag. It feels like you're pulling a joke.
Yes, because what is ladies and gentlemen? Yes.
So basically, gender is a construct and it's all a joke and we should laugh at it.
Literally.
So that's the end of the show then.
Bye.
It was nice seeing you. However,
Am I answering this question before? Wait, are we cheersing before I answer the question?
are we cheers?
To you.
No,
Oh.
I want to cheers to you.
Aww. Okay.
You are someone that has given me, I remember,
Oh, are my titties showing? Yeah. Damn it, girls!
Why didn't you
I
bring
know,
me?
I didn't think that this, hold on. Let's.
Why didn't you bring the
My titty tape. I didn't think that my titties were doing this today. Like, they went. Am I fine? You know, don't worry. I'm making your edits exciting.
All right. I will pick up from the toast. You actually have no idea how much you mean to me. I was trying to make you blush and I made you blush. I won the game. 2, truth.
The truth. In its beauty and its ugliness.
Ngicela ubambe please.
Okay.
You, Thontsi, in the beginning stages of our friendship, you held me when I didn't even know what was going on with me. And you said, it's cool, my nigga, I'll be there for you. And you didn't even know what was going on with me. You were just like, no, I got you. And for that, I love you. And for that, I'll love you for life.
Love you, my boy.
And like there's those things, like as boys, because you're my boy.
Yeah, you're my boy, Shem. Okay, I claim you.
I'm claiming that.
Yeah, claim and fits.
And in the world that we grow up in, where we're not given space or room to have boys, you're my only boy. You're my only boy. And I'm so fucking grateful for that.
Can I hug you?
Absolutely.
I appreciate you so much. Like, I am extremely proud of you and how far you've come. I think, like it's been nice growing with you. Like you've ushered in my growth, feeling like a big boy.
You're my big brother.
Dang! Oh, no, yes,
You're much younger than me,
I
but you're my
am.
big brother.
And it's weird because I feel like you're that to me. So like, see how gender roles and age roles.
So what is
switch?
gender? Tell me.
Basically, gender is in your brain, and yeah, gender's in your brain, and then sex or what they assign you with is in your pants. And so we don't ask people about what their sex is, but however people identify is how we should accept them. I think that gender is very fluid. I think gender is on a spectrum and it lives on a spectrum. But I also acknowledge and understand that we have been conditioned and raised in spaces where people experience it on a binary. So you are either male or you are female, and then the subcategories would be, what's the word, woman and man, and you fit into that. And then there are people like you, for instance, who have been assigned birth, which means that a doctor, you came out of your mother, a doctor was like, ooh, by the looks of this area beneath the waist, you look like you've got an extra piece there, or you don't have an extra piece there, and now I'm telling you that you are now a girl, which means that you're going to grow up to be a woman.
So someone told you
So
that.
someone told you that, and then with someone like me, I am gender queer, just mostly because I don't think I experience gender the way, my experience of gender is a very personal one, and I think gender is personal to everyone. So just because I, as a non-binary person and a genderqueer person who also identifies as transmasc, presents or behaves in a certain way, do not assume that everyone who carries any of these labels identifies in this space. And we should respect that. So for me, gender it's nothing, it is everything. It's a very complex relationship with gender, in my case.
So as a genderqueer person, like, what do these labels mean? Like, why are they there? What do they mean more for the community, for the genderqueer community? Why are they there? I'm trying to understand.
Sure.
Mina ngiyingane kwa genderqueer.
Yes, I'm genderqueer. And I'm just saying this because I feel like why they are there is because colonialism, I can't speak to a world before colonialism because we actually don't have that memory. It's not a very new memory for us as abantu abamnyama. And so in my experience of it, it is that it's this construct that came with Christianity and the white Eurocentric brand of Christianity, because it also helps define us and helps us find our purposes, you know. So men must go out and do the hunting and do the protecting, and then women must raise the kids, and we are living in the aftermath of that lie, you know.
It's a lie.
It's a lie.
Do you think gender is a lie?
For me.
Do you think gender is a lie?
In my experience, and as gender reflects on me, gender in my life is a lie. And I'm also like learning and unlearning, especially, you know, where as much as I am gender fluid and I'm non-binary, I'm not in a space to impose my views on gender onto other people, but I do think that it is important that people respect people's gender identities in the same way that if I'm in a space with a cisgendered person, which means that you identify with the gender that the doctor told that you were assigned at birth. So what the doctor said, when the doctor was like, I'm male, you've grown up feeling male, you know that you are male, everything about you says I am male and speaks to that maleness. It's not my place to come in and tell you that you are wrong or you are right or I don't believe in what it is that you are doing, because you are a human being before that gender, you know. And so for me, it is a lie. I understand that there are people who hold on to it very dearly. I think that this is where my opinion comes in. I think that those people, which is fine, you know, if you believe in gender, but in the greater scheme of things, gender has not liberated us as human beings. And as
so you do not believe in gender at all?
I don't believe in gender at all. I express myself in masculinity and femininity, but for me, it's an anvil, and my ankle is tied to that anvil, and it's dead weight for me, because people have treated me differently based on how they have decided, on what they have decided my gender is. And so for me, it's as useless as abantu bazothini, you know. That's what gender is for me, is that it's abantu bazothini. So it's fine, call me what you will, but...
On a personal, heartical level, does it not hurt?
It did for a very long time. And then I think, it did. I think that we also, coming out also kind of helped ease that pain a bit, because I think coming out, because I think when we think about coming out, we always think about coming out like, oh, Thishiwe, I just want to let you know I'm non-binary now, my pronouns are they, them, and then you think, and it's not necessarily like that, because when I come out, I am also pulling out the people that I am coming out to from the closet.
You mean coming out as non-binary?
Coming out as non-binary, and coming out in general, but specifically coming out as non-binary. But I think, because I also thought, and the media kind of portrays it as this, like, it's a very linear thing, realizing that it's not actually linear, and that at some point you keep having to come back to base, where I had to outgrow the notion that what the world sees my gender as cannot hold me hostage. I cannot be held hostage by the world's opinions and decisions of what my gender is. And so even if it hurts, I need to also realize that we do live in a very heteropatriarchal, cisgendered world where gender is on a binary for a lot of people. I am in the minority. I live in a country where I am blessed to be the majority. And it's not exactly the case when it comes to gender. And so it will hurt. But I have identified as a woman who loves women. You know, I have identified in all of these different spaces where I have known that people are going to dislike me based on who I love. And so if I can hold space and be strong in those moments, I must be strong and hold space for myself in the same way.
I want to ask you something. What identifies you more, who you love or who you are?
Who you are. I think who you love is a very big part of it, but how do you know who you love if you don't know who you are? You know, and sometimes who you love can introduce you to who you are.
What if they're in conflict? Like, what if you're a trans person that is, for example, in love with a lesbian woman who is not attracted to trans men?
God, Thishiwe. Fuck.
Ngiyabuza.
You just...
When we toasted, did we drink?
We did, but I'm feeling very thirsty. Yo, I don't know. I think, like, relationships are just so... Relationship is a
Do
whole
they
other
not get
thing.
more complex in our world?
But it's as complex as we make it out to be. No, it's as complex as we make it out to be, but it's as complex as who we are as individuals, and it's as complex as what our relationship is. You know, I mean, Mina, now we've got a very chilled and like very relaxed and very open kind of relationship. You know, we can talk and we chat and we talk about things and we can get very deep about it. And in my book, it's very simple and it's straightforward. But a relationship like that is very complex, you know. It's as complex, it's as complicated as we make it, but it is complex. And I think maybe it's that line between complicated and complex that makes it nuanced, you know. I think you can...
I feel you.
Complicated presents a challenge, whereas complex creates a conversation. And I think that's what it is, you know, because if people are very attached to our identities because our identities are who we are. And so when you are trans or gender diverse identifying, coming into a space with someone who is who's homosexual and is very proud of their gender and cis homosexual, it's what it is between us in our relationship, because your lesbian partner might not be vibing with you and your gender expression and your gender identity right now. And then in 10 years, might find themselves starting a family with someone who is trans, you know. Is it a reflection on you? Is it a reflection on your relationship? Or is it a reflection on them as an individual, you know? Without
It's
even
growth.
judging. It's growth. And that's the thing. I think even in my gender queerness, it's a spectrum. I move, we shake.
Do you find that being genderqueer and being queer at the same time is a lot?
Every fucking day. Every motherfucking day. I don't get paid enough for this gig. But I don't think I can't imagine myself being straight. Like with the experiences that I have.
But there's two things now. There's being straight, and then there's being lesbian. Because you could just be an AFAB.
Yes.
Who is lesbian.
Yes.
Which I feel like, oh my God, if I had just chosen that for my life, it would have been simpler.
Would it though?
It would have been simpler.
No, but what makes
I
it simpler?
chose the hardest road. When Jesus said,
Who do you want to be?
Thishiwe, what do you want? I was like, I want the hardest one. Which one is hard? And Jesus was like, be a trans man. And I was like, that's the one.
I don't know, you know, like I mean, of course it is challenging, you know, like it is challenging. But this is the only life that I know. Like in the now, you know, I have lived in many closets. You know, I have come out of closets carrying my other closets. And I don't know if it's harder. I think so. I mean, because of who we are, my mom is a very big driving force in my life, and a lot of the women in my life are very, very impactful and have a lot of impact in my life. And like, I look at them sometimes, and I'm just like, the expectation of pregnancy and marriage is way harder.
Do they expect you to get married?
No, not anymore. Like, I think if I had to come home and be like, Mom, this is my spouse, my mom would. I need to actually go and talk to my mom about like what that would look like. But you know,
Do they want you to be pregnant?
I might want to be pregnant, but not without the expectation though. Like I wanted to be my choice. I think for a long time I felt that expectation, especially growing up in a very Catholic home. You go out, you get your matric, you get your degree, you work, you meet a nice boy, you guys get married, you make beautiful babies, and you give your mother grandkids. You know. Now I'm like, I'm okay to be queer without the expectation of getting married. Like, no one ever asked me, so why you shut that in? Because then the question is, there's always like,
with what?
no, it's like, I don't have money. And then they're like, okay, but also in a mile, Okay, sure. Hypothetically speaking, that's great, but like, I don't think marriage is for me. It's a messed up. It's a contract.
What's wrong with marriage?
It's a contract. And maybe I have commitment issues, but I think marriage it's an institution. I don't know. I'm on the fence about marriage. I think commitment is beautiful, but do we need to be married in front of man and God?
I don't understand that word, me, myself.
Which one, marriage?
Yeah.
What does marriage mean to you?
Like, for example, you know, if I were to meet you on the side of the street and you're tanned, and then we fuck, and then the sex is great.
Yeah. We're married. Or is it just vibes? Oh.
Then I don't understand what's this marriage thing. I don't understand what marriage is. That's my problem. That's my problem.
It came on a... No, I'm joking. It did not come on a boat. Yo, Shanga Zongpogela, please.
No, but I think it did. I think it did.
Our understanding of marriage maybe came on a boat.
Because this monogamy is foreign.
That's the problem.
I don't understand monogamy at all. I'm like, you want me to what? You want me to just look at you? Who won?
See, and I think that's my problem.
I understand.
It's this contract now where I'm committing myself to like one person for life. In front
I'm
of
not,
God, Joe. Like,
I'm not going to do that.
So
Yeah.
now
so
I must lie and be like,
what? No.
no. I think it's beautiful though. I love weddings. Please invite me to your weddings. What do I say to this camera? Invite me to your weddings.
Do it to that one.
This one.
That's
invite
your close-up.
me to my weddings.
Oh no, that's
I don't know who my close-up is.
There's your close-up.
But invite me to your weddings.
There.
Invite me to your wedding. Invite me to your wedding. Invite me to your wedding. Ngizothungisa yazi. Like, ngizothunga, like, let's
No,
do
mina
this.
ukushada ngingashada. As long as umama sekhaya azi ukuthi baningi.
Ubaba sekhaya yena? Noma we don't asilalela kubo baba.
No, angithi umama sekhaya.
Oh.
As long as umama sekhaya azi ukuthi baningi.
Oh.
Izindlu zasekhaya ziningi.
Yeah.
Ngakhile. That's all.
Oh. Marriage is so stressful.
Umzulu, bruh.
Yes, but like
Umzulu.
kodwa ufuna ukubashada bonke.
Yes.
Okay.
No, mina mangifeba ne. Ngizokwakhela indlu.
Oh.
Ngizokwakhela indlu yakho, kwakhela indlu yakho, kwakhela indlu yakho.
Udedi
That's how I fab.
Okay. Yes.
So, I've had like this, and I'm probably oversharing now. Like things around family because of my gender. I'm scared. I'm scared of going home. My father understands me and knows me exactly as I am, and he is the most amazing man. And there's nothing that I will do that he won't yes. You know what I mean? So ekhaya akaze kube ne-queer. I was the first queer ekhaya. And at that time I was in a very serious relationship, and my father was in love with the person I was in love with, and was just saying, umakoti ayakusalute, you know. So like it's always been that, like my father's been the champion. But now that I've broken up with that person, it's I have to introduce my identity to my family differently, because it was we can accept that, but now it's just here's this trans man. And now it's so much harder. So, no man for when saying it's hard, dog. Because I am the first transgender man in my family. And I don't know how to do it. And the only person I have is my father. And he's great. But I'm just like, I'm just scared, I suppose. I'm scared.
Dude.
Do you have those types of issues in your family? Like, because we're black people,
Yeah.
how does being trans factor in?
To be honest, talking about gender makes me dysphoric, right? I think I am an overthinker who lives in my head, and plus people pleasing. It's always just a shit situation because I'm always trying to make everyone else feel comfortable about me so that I can feel comfortable about me. Especially like with like the coming out thing, I came out to, even like when I came out as queer, I've been very open and vocal about it, you know, without like formalizing it. So like on my social media pages, I am trans, I am queer on my social media pages. Relatives who are willing to come in and engage. And I guess maybe this is also like it's my avoidant nature of me just like I don't know how to start this conversation. Like even in family situations, I think maybe this is also where the beauty, maybe not the beauty, the nuance of it comes in. I am very aware of what makes me feel misgendered and unseen in a space, but I'm also very careful to read context. So you're not going to find me in Shinzinkom. These hands are too pretty. Is it like you might find me? I mean, like,
I would rather Hlinza and Gomo.
I won't even cook, but I wash the dishes. Like, like I'm not that person, but I think going back and experiencing the ways in which my dad, particularly my dad, because he also like kind of, his passing kind of set the tone for a lot of the relationships that I had, you know, or yeah, set them in stone for a bit. So even in coming out and expressing myself as queer and genderqueer, I will not rock up to a family event in a skirt unless I feel like wearing a skirt. I will not, if I come in pants, I will rock up there in pants because my dad told me when I was 15, doesn't matter if you're wearing, doesn't matter what you're wearing. As long as utwele, do what you need to do. So I will come to the family event in my pants, because my dad, no one will trump my dad. Like, I need to really talk about patriarchy. This is where your patriarchy is not biting you in the ass, because the head of my household told me it didn't matter how I expressed myself, which has also made me not feel the need to come out overtly to everybody and make it an announcement, because I also
Have you
don't
ever
see it.
done that?
What, like come out overtly and be like, I am trans and this is who I am and
Yes.
this is how I want to be?
Yes.
Yes and no.
Okay, what's the yes? I want to know the yes.
The yes was probably like a social media post where I was like, I'm non-binary, my pronouns are they, them. Sure.
Does your family know what that means?
Most likely no. But they are also not blind and they're not naive. And I think enough of them read because families talk and families gossip. I'm also there in the family gossip, you know. Something will pop up on someone's timeline. And I think it's come up, but I'm dealing with it and I'm negotiating this and navigating this in our own way, you know. Like I see how my mom will affirm my gender. My mom buys me underwear sometimes, you know. And my mom will buy me briefs, which is the sweetest thing. Mothers who buy briefs for their kids, top tier, you know. And that for me is that affirmation. I think also I have passing privilege. You know, I can code switch, and even if if I find myself in a dangerous situation, or a situation which I can perceive as being a little bit tense, I can play the role of, you know, I can be, and I can play the role that is needed to play in that situation, which has also granted me a lot of protection to a degree, you know. And so in a lot of ways.
So do you just do that?
I read the room, I read the situation. I think it's a lot easier when I'm not wearing my beard. When I am wearing my beard, it becomes a lot more difficult, because then my fear is, if you are able to clock that I'm not a man in front of you, and I'm not a gay man, because I've received a lot of shit because they have perceived me to be a gay cisgendered man. And I've received a lot of shit, and my fear is that if you catch me, and I mean, because when I realized that I was attracted to women, you know, before I'd even realized that I was not a woman and I was not a girl, my biggest fear was that living in the country that I live in, I will be attacked and targeted because I love women and I'm attracted to women. So that was like a reality I had to come to terms with at a very young age, which in itself is a very traumatic reality. But realizing that actually, with all due respect, men also are a little bit easy. They're easy in their violence, because really you're doing this because your ego is bruised. And then once I stroke your ego, where is our tension now? You know? But the fear of being clocked as not just being a gay man, but you're not even a gay man. You have a vagina on you, therefore you are a woman. Unamabele, therefore you are a woman. And then the violence at that anger, because how dare you? Which in itself is tense. Yeah, it's tense. But I think coming out needs to, I think everyone needs to define coming out for themselves. Coming out is not the pinnacle.
Do you think coming out to everything? Who are we coming out to?
Exactly.
I want to understand this.
Coming out to yourself and to your family and to the world. And we've watched all these movies where the kid comes out and says, "This is who I am," and then they met with violence, and then at the end, hopefully,
But
they find
heteros
love.
don't come out.
Exactly. Heteros don't come out. But I think coming out is also, and this is without even disregarding the importance of coming out, because
all due respect,
Yeah, I
because
mean,
it's an importance. Yeah.
you coming out, for instance, I will never forget that day. I was in the throes of the worst depression I'd experienced.
My coming out.
Your coming out. I was off Twitter. I think you came out mid-lockdown.
Coming out
As
of what?
non-binary, as non-binary.
Oh, yeah.
Oh no, when you came out as like, when I don't know where did you come out or were you out? When the pictures surfaced of you and your queerness, first of all, I was like, oh, okay, it's good to know family is over there. But when you came out as non-binary, I was deep in the throes of, I was feeling dysphoric. My dysphoria was affecting my mental health. Lockdown, cabin fever. It was rough. But you coming out like that because you were the hottie of South Africa. You were this country's hottest hottie. You know, like FHM, you qualify kind of vibes. And then you came out and it was with those pictures and you were masculine and you were like, I'm non-binary. What that moment did for me, especially as someone who had tried to work in the entertainment industry and realizing that there are no people like me in the space, which means that it's not just going to be harder, it's going to be 10 times harder, because I don't even have that insulation of, I have a portfolio or a repertoire that precedes me, therefore I will receive the jobs and the jobs will come in and I'll have my allies in the space. You coming out like that, it was the most liberating thing. I went back online that day, just for that day, just so that I could see how the queers were celebrating you. Because it is important that kids don't feel like they're the only ones who are like them. It's important that someone knows that there is someone like me out there who can do it. But in the same breath, we also don't have the same kinds of support structures. And so I believe that you should only come out if it feels safe.
Absolutely.
And safe can be if it's externally safe, if it's internally safe for yourself. You know, if you live your truth and let people live by their assumptions, and for you that is safer, do that. You know, we live in a country where you log on Twitter, and the first thing that we do before we even say good morning to ourselves, I'm scrolling. And so
and it's violent.
It's violent. Like the violence that you see at 5 a.m. in the morning, and you're like, guys, what?
And nobody should have to be projected. Like, nobody should have to be, you know. So I think people that are trying to figure themselves out, not on Twitter.
Not on Twitter, not on social media. And do it for yourselves. You know, find the spaces where you can express yourself the most. This year in J, you know, this last year of my 20s has just been dedicated to just literally just expressing myself the way that I feel on that day. You know, it's just being present for myself, which is I have to find that safe space in myself, because I live in a country which guarantees that I'm not safe. And if you do not feel safe, you cannot be happy, you cannot find joy, you cannot find peace. And we owe it to ourselves, yes, we owe it to the baby versions of ourselves who saw ourselves in our 20s flourishing, living our best out lives, you know, to try to find that little joy. You know, even if it means it's just you when you're in the bathroom after your shower, putting on lipstick. And in that moment, you are like, honey, what a sexy love bomb. Or you're taking your eyeliner and you're like drawing a mustache and you're like, honey, what a hunk.
I remember being 10 years old and a boy that I had a huge crush on telling me, you're never gonna get married. And I got so hurt. And I was like, why am I never gonna get married? He's like, you hate men. Which I now understand what he was saying is, you're a feminist. I was 10 years old. He was like, everything you say is anti-patriarchy, is what I now understand. And I'm like, oh, but I had this huge crush on this boy. Like, and the reason why was because Begani Lefika. And he had like man boobs, so he was, never mind. He was very feminine looking.
I'm going to just segue quickly. Gender identity is not the same thing as sexual orientation. Sexual orientation is what lives in your pants, grand sharp, ne?
So explain to them.
So gender lives in your head. Sexual orientation lives in your pants. This is what gets your vibe going, what says yes, what gives you that
So
vibe.
why was I excited about
the boy? Are they still a boy?
Yeah, that's why I said XYZ. XYZ.
No, because sexuality is fluid. And I'm not projecting, but like sexuality is fluid, you know. I think a lot of our first crushes, and I'm saying this as someone who grew up enjoying girlhood, who grew up identifying as a girl for most of the girlhood. I had a lot of crushes on my girlfriends. You know, I think our friends are the ones who teach us about intimacy, and especially as kids, because intimacy doesn't have to be sexual. But they are the ones who teach us about intimacy. And I feel like we shame little boys especially.
I don't think they have space for that.
No, not at all. But it's because their fathers are like, you must be a man. And then their mothers are like, you're the man of the house.
I don't think they have space for that.
No.
And What I've learned in the last year and a half as a transgender man is the tenderness of being a man.
Dude, masculinity is the most intense and beautiful expression of it.
I've been taught, and I realized it after shooting a film. For the first time, I shot a film playing a transgender man, and I want to cry right now. But it's the deepest truth I've ever told. And it just spoke to everything I've ever done, and everything I've ever been, and everything my mother ever said to me, and everything everyone at home ever knew about me without me knowing about me. Like, I was told as an 8-year-old, as a 10-year-old, I win la hlupa. You hate men. Like, basically, you're a feminist. Like, why are you like this? Why are you so? Why are you so? Why are you umfana? And it was something I was working against. And it's something I've been working against for years. And it's taken the relationship that I have with spirit now, understanding, oh, okay, this is where I am, this is what I'm doing, and that's where it's at, and that's where I'm going. And wherever that pans out to, I know where it's at right now. I know I'm a man. And I don't need anyone's permission for that. And I know I can sit on the couch with you and have these conversations with you. And it's the most beautiful thing I've ever experienced.
Sorry, I'm just thinking about that whole, the role that spirituality plays in that gender expression. I think, tapping into that whole gender identity conversation opened up a whole other conversation about spirituality, especially njengomuntu omnyama, because everything that we have been taught about who we are spiritually up until who knows when, up until the moment the dreams are too difficult. You know, you think you know who you are, but I think opening up myself and being a lot more open to my spirituality has kind of guided the choices and the decisions that I've made with how I express myself, the ways that I express myself, you know, whether it's verbally, whether it's physically. I really feel like we are the test of the cisheads.
The test?
The test. I don't know my Bible. I went to church for a very long time. Still don't know I know Psalm 23. Is that it? The Lord is my shepherd. Okay, 23. But somewhere in the Bible, there's a verse which speaks to God will never give you a load.
Test that it is bigger than you.
And a load that you cannot carry, you know? And I have held on to that. It's probably the only verse, and I don't even know the name of that verse, but it's that verse that has carried me through life, is that I am not the burden. I am the test. I am the test of the humanity of those who have more power in a position to me, which means that I am actually the one who has the power. Because how you treat me is more of a reflection on you than a reflection on me. And so, be free. Do you express it? You know, I'm actually loving like the genesis that has happened in the last 5 years. So, we're like, male clothing has started becoming very effeminate. Like,
I love it. I love pearl pearl necklaces on
The black nail
on
polish. I'm
AMABs.
just like, yes, Mr. Man, with your code saying I'm a Zulu man. Yes.
And as a creative, I've always put that on my characters. Like all my AMAB characters always wear black nail polish. I've done that with every character I've ever put on everyone.
Yeah.
I was just like, but that's what I understand masculinity as.
I think that is the beauty of masculinity, and I think that the black men in this country, I love men. I really, really, really love men. I'm terrified of them, but I love them.
Terrified? What do you mean?
Black men specifically, and I'm speaking to black men because I don't engage or speak to white men or enough white men for me to actually have an opinion on them. For me, it's
Terrified as in you're scared for your life.
I'm scared for my life around black men. It takes, I think, in my life, and this is including like relatives and all, there are probably like 4 men in my life where I'm like, if I'm in a situation and I'm in a very shitty situation, this is who I'm going to be calling. Because I know that they will show up for me. They have acknowledged me in my wholeness, and they are not violent. They have not been violent towards me, and their interactions with other people have also not been violent, you know. But I'm terrified of black men in this country because black men are the perpetrators of so much violence against us. And so, but I love them because my dad's a black man. And even him in his complexities had his own things, you know. But I also think that there is a woundedness that they don't open up themselves to.
Of course not. I've never seen a black man open up to certain things. And I come from a family of very sensitive men who open themselves up. And the reason why I can be a trans man in this world is because I come from a father who is like, you're a man, I'm a man. I come from 2 brothers who are like, you're a man, I'm a man. However, there's that space where they won't let you in.
Yeah. And I get it, but I also don't get it because I feel like if you've been raised, if the person who got you to this place was a woman, we live in a country where I think it's a weird number, like between 2008 and 2018, 75% of the kids who were born in that decade did not have a father on their birth certificate.
My father does not speak about his mother, and my brother may not speak about his mother. So what then?
Inner child healing. Get therapy. Literally. And therapy, and I'm not talking about therapy of like, or like, do like manly things. Like, go and...
I think Mkoti might help.
No.
I'm leaning towards Mkoti.
No, do that talk therapy. Like, talk through your issues, talk through it.
Are you like a human... let's speak about it.
Yes. Say what you mean, because your hinting goes over my head and then we miscommunicate. Manje sesibambene ngama-washing, so yangishaya mina sengiyakwaza. Now we're not friends, you see. But if we say what we
Okay, well, yours is a bit dire.
this always escalates.
I love the conversation we have been having. I want to talk about what people have been saying about identity.
Wait, what was the question though?
I don't know. But this is also at unapologetically_joyled, who on Instagram said, why is it that women are always expected by men to express themselves in a way that wouldn't portray them as disrespectful or unruly? whereas men are allowed to express themselves in any way. Do you have any answer for unapologetically joy lethu? So ukhala ngeviolence.
Unapologetically
Uthi men can be violent, but women can't.
My location is your location. And I'm not even a woman. My location is your location. It's a speculation, because nothing is fact. I think it's all about power. I think, again, this whole Christianity, Western Christianity thing, it was imposed on us. And I think that there is a sense of safety because our brothers and our men they look at white men who carry systemic power and they aspire to that.
Do you think black men did not have systemic power?
What, in like before colonization? No. I think you earned your power. I no, and I'm not saying Guti like there wasn't a patriarchal kind of construct around what the power structure was. No. And I'm getting to that. Ngoba, I think if you were I think it came from a place of respect. You know, I feel like if you got married, and this is just a feeling, like it's still like, again, like I say, it's speculation because I don't know a world before capitalism. I don't know a world before patriarchy and before Christian patriarchy came here. We are putting the pieces together right now, trying to rediscover who we were. But there was an element of respect and a place where a woman's power, if she asserted herself enough, in the same way that when a man asserts himself, if you can back that shit up, we will back it up. I believe that there were women who were happy to play the nurturing, motherly role. And then there were people like Umkabai Gabjama, for instance, who started...
motherfucking shit.
And had kingdoms. Were given kingdoms because
I feel like people don't understand who Umkabai was. And it breaks my heart every time people try to tell stories and then feature, because they feature her.
Of course.
Okay, it's into
Kingmaker. Literally, our country's history, where we stand right now as a country, stands on the shoulders of Umkabai Gacham.
It's into.
And who decided that I do not want to get married. I do not want to.
Impose.
And so I feel like this is the thing, is that it's about holding space and creating space and knowing when your skill set is not enough for this particular moment. And I feel like men
it's too much.
And when it's too much, and knowing when to back away and move back. I feel like men don't give that to women, and they don't give it to each other, because for them, holding space for my friend, and I'm saying this, and when I speak to men, and I need to be very conscious of this, I'm also calling myself. Yeah, like, no, and not AMABs, particularly cis-het men and cis men, including everyone else who's on that spectrum of wherever you identify sexually. There's an element of shame which comes with being soft, because, or not even soft, being tender and gentle, because gentleness is associated with being woman, and woman is associated with being weak. And people forget that you were raised by very strong mothers in a migrant system which removed many fathers from their homes, which means we've had generations upon generations upon generations of black men being raised by women. And yet, this is not seen as power. It's seen as weakness. And so, the challenge to black men of this country, and men across the spectrum of it, hold space for the women in your life. Elevate them. Let's see what happens. You know, our country has been in need of a non-male identifying president for at least a decade.
Do you think it's going to happen?
No, not now. Maybe when I'm 80, and maybe that's where the challenge lies. I I would vote for someone not because, and maybe I might actually vote for a woman in that particular position, but let's not get into the politicalness of it. But I would vote for them just because it's a different point of view. We've come from white men who wanted power to black men who have been given power, who have carried on power, who have abused that power in the same way that the apartheid regime abused that power. You know?
In gruesome
And
way.
gruesome. And it's the same kind
I'll
of...
never forget. Marikana, for me, like, I don't know how to vote. Marikana happened on the same day. My mom passed away on the same day as Marikana. So I don't know how to vote. Like, it's just like, I don't understand why that had to happen. Why it had to be the same day. Like, I'm sore about the ANC. I'm sore about this governance. I'm sore about my mother. I'm just sore. So why?
Vote a communist.
I can't. I'm tired.
Don't not vote, though. Especially 2024.
No, I'll vote.
Zakapat.
I don't even smoke weed. But I'll do that rather than do nothing.
Yeah. Vote socialist. I think, and again, even with like socialism and all of these spaces, Africa is the richest continent on this planet.
Fuck, none of that shit matters,
Asia comes in a second. No, and why I'm saying this is that we don't need to, we can borrow and adapt. The problem with
it doesn't matter. They've stolen everything already. But it's over.
They haven't stolen us. They haven't stolen our souls.
It's over.
They haven't stolen our futures.
It's over.
Nah, dog. Don't be a pessimist. We can't be a pessimist for the next generation of queers. Where are they going to turn to? I am doing this so that the baby queers can live their rainbow lives, and then I can be a rainbow grandpa.
Okay, maybe you're the. Okay, maybe maybe I'm hurt. You are beautiful. Celebrate you. You did well this year. End this year off nice. Asambe say hard teas, chokuzi waini, epotini, emanzini, kube mnandi. You down?
Of course I'm down. And I'm very single. So, and I'll be drinking some of this wonderful Siwela white wine. Yes, and Sharon is yes for everything and down for everybody. Come say hi. Let's drink. Let's dance. And if you wear eyeliner, yes.
All right. As someone say what hat is, guys. As someone say hat is what? Once. Guys, check out all my socials, book tickets. Let's go to Hearties. It's going to be so much fun. As you can see. Beautiful stuff, beautiful people. Love you.